Okay, y'all, so we got some exclusive Elaida stuff, and this is coming from Entertainment Weekly. They put out an exclusive little clip of season 3. Let's get into it, shall we? So clearly, this is an Elaida clip, so that means that this scene involves the Reds, right? So the Reds are sitting around, they're having a meet, and my good sis here, I really love this actress here. Like, she's really doing it for me. But my good sis here asks Elaida, what do you want? And, you know, before we get to that, like, I'm so excited to finally see Showrunner as Elaida. She looks so good. Like, I want to raid her closet, Elaida's closet already. Let's talk about this updo and them earrings. Like, she looks good. Like, she looks good. Get into that. So remember, Elaida is the Queen of Andor's Aes Sedai. And what I mean by that is, like, she serves as advisor to the Queen of Andor, of course, Morghese. Elaine is the daughter of the Queen of Andor, Morghese. So, you know, clearly the Reds are reeling after what happened in the beginning of the first episode, and these Reds have to acknowledge Elaida because of her position, like her power, her influence. She's right up against, like, she's rubbing shoulders with the Queen of Andor, so, like, we can't just ignore Elaida even if we want to, right? So Elaida is asked what she wants, and she ends up saying, I don't want anything except to see the Reds return to our rightful place in the heart of this tower like we were when I was the highest. Remember, Siuan had closed that hall meeting to the rest of the Reds besides Liandrin, and so politically, how that looks outside the tower, and we're talking about, like, girl, they asking questions about where Elaine was at. I remember in the books, there was just like, where is Elaine at? The Queen of Andor was mad. So it's just like, Liandrin has been found out to be a dark friend. Siuan done locked the Reds out the tower, basically, out the tower, and so Elaida's like, we gotta fix that. Like, we gotta return to our rightful place. And so my good sis over here says, girl, when you were, what'd she say? Basically, when you were the highest, Elaida, in the tower, that was a long time, or in the Reds, that was a long time ago. It's giving Jurassic era age. Like, it's giving Jurassic era, mama. And you know, if I say, girl, you old, that means you real old. That means you're real old. Anyway, so she goes on and says, it's not the time for us to be pushing an agenda, not after Liandrin. And like I said, Liandrin was found to be a dark friend. Like, politically, it looks a mess. The Reds locked out the tower. She's just like, girl, now is not the time. And Elaida was just like, nah, now is exactly the time. The dragon is reborn. He's a man. This is what Reds specifically have been waiting on for centuries. She said, only we are ready for it. And so what they ask her, like, okay, so girl, what you want to do? Elaida proposes that we call for a vote in the hall to send a group of 8 sisters to find Rand al'Thor and cage him. Now, I thought this was very interesting because in the books, if I'm not mistaken, I'm on Path of Daggers, like I said, but in the books, they needed 13 Aes Sedai to cage him, like cage any man, I think. Like, as long as you have like 13 sisters together, they can do anything. Essentially, they can cage anybody, do anything. So I wonder if this is like saying that basically, hey, the show is changing the number from 13 Aes Sedai needed to cage anybody to 8. Or if this was already set up, like if they have already established this in the show and I missed it. But I found it interesting that these numbers are the same when talking about the Forsaken, right? Because, you know, we need 13 Aes Sedai in the books to cage, but now the show is saying we need 8. And then also in the books, there are 13 Forsaken, while in the show, they've cut it down to 8. So, like I said, I'm making my way through the books. I'm on Path of Daggers, but maybe the number needed to cage men or the dragon relates somehow to the number of Forsaken that were created. I don't know. Please don't spoil it. If you do know, if you know, please don't spoil it. But I just thought that those numbers being literally the same was an interesting change, interesting adaptation. My good sis over here says we have work to do. The Reds have work to do to regain our standing here. Work you, Elaida, are making more difficult. And so she showed Elaida the door. And Elaida walks out, but we all know that that is not at all the last that we're seeing of her. In the next part of this video, we'll talk about a little bit about the Entertainment Weekly article because Rafe spoke a little bit about Elaida in there, so we'll get into it. All right, so this is coming from Entertainment Weekly. Now, Rafe describes Elaida as competent and extremely shrewd, and a dangerous politician. As soon as you see her come back into this story, you realize, oh, this woman is an operator, and no matter what obstacle is placed in her way, she's not afraid to find a way to remove it, which makes her a very, very interesting and juicy character, Rafe explains. So this was something we were really excited to see for her, and to also see the different color in the show of what does a group of red sisters talk about on their day off. And I thought that was it's gonna be so much fun. To that end, Rafe says he and the show's writers were inspired by what it feels like to be a young person walking into a room full of powerful lesbians in Los Angeles. That is so specific, Rafe. Rafe is so gay, I love it. That is so specific. When creating this particular scene, the showrunner says it was an experience he and Ellie Elder have first-hand knowledge of. You'd walk into this room where just the women in it were so spectacularly powerful and kind of disdainful of everything around them that I felt like that's the true feeling of the Red Ajah salon. Think of where the coolest, most powerful lesbians in the world would hang and what they would do there. So yeah, I don't know. They're picking the right clips to show us. It's juicy enough for us to talk about, but at the same time not giving too much away. She wants to cage the dragon, mama. She think that Swan been playing around, everybody been playing around, y'all doing way too much. Because Leandrin walked up in there in the hall, and what she said, she wasn't lying. She was like, girl, Swan doing all type of stuff. She messing around with a man that can channel. He declared himself the dragon, da 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 da. And so Elaida's like, girl, it's a bunch of foolishness going on in this White Tower, and y'all playing with it. And Elaine almost got sold into slavery. And I'm the queen of Andor's advisor. Like, no, I'm coming in there. I'm coming in there. I'm going to shake this tower up. That's exactly what she does in the books, obviously. But just to see this buildup happening in the show is just quite pleasing to me. And I cannot believe that the Wheel of Time fandom actually got Showrunner Insights to act this part, and she's perfect. She is perfect in there. I don't know. I would pay to have Showrunner curse me out. I would pay to have her curse me out. You know how people do cameos and stuff on them apps and stuff. You pay to get a cameo. I would pay her. I would pay to have her curse me out. I love her voice. I love the fact that she commits to these every role. Of course, an actress will do that, but I just love to see it. Keep in mind that I will be reviewing every single episode of season 3. It's gonna be exhausting, but it's gonna be a lot of fun because I reviewed a couple episodes last season, and those were fun, especially when Egwene was going through it with the ADOM and all that. So I'm just ready. I'm ready for this weekend. Thank y'all so much for watching. Love y'all so much. And I'll check y'all out later. Peace. Make sure that you're going to www.zeraxia.com. When you join the wait list there on the site, you will be the first to be notified when I drop my sequel. Also, you'll immediately get chapter 1 of my upcoming sequel of the upcoming book sent to your email as a PDF. So check that out. Also, this is a different excerpt from my upcoming book, so you definitely want to pause to read if you're trying to get your life. Keep in mind that this upcoming book, the sequel, is following up the first book that is already released called Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King. I released it a few years ago. It was my introduction to writing fantasy and stuff, so just go easy on me. But either way, as you can see here, it's given 4.9 stars. It's given 4.9 stars. So yeah, check out Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King while you wait for Zeraxia, The Vengeance of Cold Wind, right? And go to Zoraxia.com, sign up, join the wait list, get your free chapter. Thank you so much.